Hey there, I'm Rick Uzzi here with today's broadband deployment news stream. Today I'm going to be talking about the states and how you know who to contact in a different state if you want to get funds. I'll be right back. Thanks for joining me again. Rick Uzzi here with Zquorum. So today I wanted to cover something about these funds that are coming available from the federal government, as well as other funds that may be going to states, because you need to know who to contact at various states if that's money that you want to get. So I saw a story today that I wanted to go over, and then also talk about a few resources that we have here. First, actually that's one of the resources, but let me go first to the story. So I saw this pop up, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this as as states start to kind of get their act together, realizing that there's a lot of money out there that is going to be available to them. So with the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, in that particular federal program, which has got $65 billion in funds, about $42 billion that most states are going to be able to take advantage of for broadband deployment kinds of things. That's a lot of money, but that money is going to be going directly to the states and not to the service providers. So if you're a telephone company or a cable company and you've been used to getting federal funds through something like RDOF, then this is going to be different. This is going to be going through the states, and then the states are then going to determine who gets that money. So it's important to know who to contact at the states as these funds become available. So I saw this story, and again, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this, and I'll talk about this briefly, and then I'm going to show you some resources that will tell you who to contact at various states. So in this particular case, this is, you're in the right place here, my mouse. So this was Illinois. So Governor Pritzker announces Illinois initiative to help communities prepare for broadband infrastructure investment. So I think Illinois already have things in place, but they're looking at this now more closely and realizing they need to make sure, with all of this money being available, that communities that need it can get access to it. So as we read in here, Governor J.B. Pritzker and the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Development, or their Office of Broadband, today announced a new planning and capacity building program to help Illinois communities leverage historic broadband infrastructure funding for community-driven broadband expansion. And that's what I'm talking here, this historic $42 billion in the Infrastructure Act that was just passed. The Accelerate Illinois Broadband Infrastructure Planning Program, a collaborative effort by the Illinois Office of Broadband, Illinois-based Benton Institute for Broadband and Society, and University of Illinois Extension, will help local governments throughout Illinois receive expert support as they prepare to leverage new dollars that will be made available by the state, as well as through the historic passage of the federal infrastructure program. Illinois communities stand to receive a significant amount of funding for broadband infrastructure enhancement thanks to the recent passage of the $1 trillion federal infrastructure plan. Obviously, that's $1 trillion. That $1 trillion includes roads, bridges, water, that kind of thing. So there's a portion of that, again, about $65 billion, or really $42.5 billion, I think, for the broadband expansion and equity program available. Additionally, the state of Illinois has its own $420 million capital plan underway now. So here's an example of funds that are available now through the state. That's through the American Rescue Plan Act that ARPA was passed as part of COVID relief, which will soon be made available for communities to apply for. So that's funds that are coming up that you can apply for now. And yesterday's broadcast talked about funds through the USDA that are available now. So this infrastructure money is not going to be available until sometime next year. They have until May 2022 before they even send out the notice of the opportunity to get those funds. So here it's talking about some funds that are available now. Community planning support offered through initiatives like Accelerate Illinois will help even the playing field so that more cities, counties, regardless of size or staffing, can prepare to submit capital dollars to help transform broadband in their communities. So this is important to know for any communities in Illinois or any communities anywhere in the country. It's important to know that you want to be able to get this money from your state. So if you're a community, you can contact your state, or if you're a service provider, cable company, telephone company, this will give you information on how and who you need to call or contact to get in the queue to be able to apply for some of these funds, or so that you know that you can apply later. Though through over 30 hours of no cost, this is Illinois' plan here, through over 30 hours of no cost expert counsel provided by the Benton Institute, the program offers structured engagement for communities to identify broadband goals, understand available funding options, and target capital dollars to support implementation. So again, they're trying to make it as easy as possible for communities to make these funds available and to determine what they can do with them. We have heard that many communities, especially smaller ones, are not prepared to take advantage of this opportunity to bring connectivity to their communities. Supporting local planning capacity building is critical to making sure that infrastructure dollars are spent efficiently and in the best interest of the communities they are intended to help. And that is important that we spend this money efficiently, so it's good that they're doing that. The Accelerate Illinois Notice of Collaboration Opportunity is open now and accepting applications through December 30th, 2021. The state expects to serve up to 12 communities as part of this initial pilot initiative. So that's one state that is making an announcement right now that they are beefing some things up in order to make sure that when they can get access to this money that's used efficiently. I wanted to show you a couple of resources, and I will link to these in the comments section after the broadcast. So one is the NTIA, it's the Broadband USA site, actually, that the NTIA is the organization that's actually been managing all of these federal dollars that come in, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be getting the applications from what they call eligible entities in this Broadband Infrastructure Act. And an eligible entity is going to be a state, U.S. state or territory. So just be aware that that's where the money again is going through. So it's important that the states know this. There are many states have broadband offices set up, and there's some that don't. And again, if you're a state, you might want to start getting that going. If you already have that going, and if you're a service provider in a state, you might want to know who to contact. So here's one place, Broadband USA, again, I'll link to this particular page that talks about the State Broadband Leaders Network and State Broadband Program. So here you can click, I happen to click on Georgia, that's where I live. So if you click on Georgia, you can see who the contacts are, state broadband contacts, state broadband coordinators, broadband programs, funding. There's a lot of information on here about that. And again, you can click on any state and click on, we're talking about Illinois, and click on that. And again, the Illinois Office of Broadband, and there's some contacts, programs, same kind of thing. Any state you want to check, you can click on that, and then just scroll down, get all the information right there. So that's one resource. And then there's also a site called BroadbandMoney that has a resources page, and again, I'll link to this as well, where very similar, probably similar information, but maybe some different information, more additional. So again, I can click, I'll go and click on Georgia here, and then I get, this is, definitely some more information here. It looks like NTIA, IIJA, this is new information I've not seen. It's got an amount for broadband grants anticipated. So this is based on this recent infrastructure bill that was passed and the amount that is anticipated that Georgia would get from that through the NTIA. There's, again, the Broadband Office. There's some links to their agency website, Broadband Office website, etc. And if there's a broadband map, Georgia has a very good broadband map. I'll go ahead and open that here in a separate tab. So you've got national maps. I talked about a map yesterday that the USDA has for the Reconnect Fund that talks about all of the different variables that you would have to, that you can get points for on that. For example, is it economically distressed? What else was there? Social. There's different things. Can't remember what they were. Oh yeah, like the distance from different cities and how rural it is and what kind of points you get there. So there's different maps. And here's the Georgia broadband map that. Where is it? Right here. So some of these states may have a map that you can go in and zoom in, and it gives you an idea of how much coverage there is for broadband. And a lot of times this is going to be different from the FCC maps that we have right now, which are being redone. So the Georgia broadband map is a little bit more conservative in who has broadband and who doesn't. It's not quite as liberal as the FCC map, so it gives you a better look at what's really, maybe a better look at what really is available as far as broadband goes. So that was Georgia right there. And again, you can just go back to the state broadband offices and click on any one. Let's look at Massachusetts, just as an example. So again, it shows the NTIA anticipated amount for Massachusetts. It does show their broadband office info. They've got a agency website, office website. Looks like they have a map as well. They've got some goals listed. And then also on all of these, you can scroll down and you can contact that the broadband office or institute, whatever the appropriate agency is for that. Just put that in there and contact them as well. So I thought this would be helpful. Hopefully it was. So if you are, again, this would be very useful, I think, for any states to see what other states are doing, because the states, you want to make sure that you have your broadband offices and all of your ducks in a row, basically, so that when the NTIA does their notice of funding opportunity, which is going to come out sometime before May of 2022, you'll want to make sure that you have your office ready and everybody hired and all of that. And there are funds available. I think it's $100 million per state that can help you get those things in place. So that's important for the states. So that's those sites that I was showing, I think, would be helpful for you to look, see what other states are doing if you don't have everything set up. And again, if you're a service provider, municipality, so you're a cable company, telephone company, if you're a municipality that wants to get funds, an electric membership co-op, all of those things, you're going to have to go through the states to get those funds. So this will give you information on who to contact there. Thanks for joining me. If this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up on the video on YouTube. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm doing these daily, these broadband deployment news. If you need help with any broadband services, you see our contact information right there, our phone number, email address. Any questions, feel free to send that to info@zcorm.com. I'll get an answer back to you. Thanks again for joining me. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.